I'm sorry. I'd like to call the City of Oglesby Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Here.
Udis.
Here.
McDermott.
Here.
Stefani.
Here.
Curran.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Number 4, public comment on agenda items only. Barring none, we'll move on. Number 5, approve minutes from May 15th, 2023 meeting and May 18th, 2023 working meeting. If there's no adjustments, additions, or anything like that, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Udis.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Stefani.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Number 6, approve bills in the amount of $202,273.31 as presented for payment.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the bills.
Second.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Udis.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Stefani.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
We have
Where's that feedback coming from? Number 7, discuss,
Jason, we have feedback on the mics. Can we adjust that down just a little bit? It's buzzing.
see if that one's on.
That one?
Can you see if that one's on?
Was it yours, Pat? Okay.
Is it off? It's off? Okay.
When I shut it off, everything.
Okay. All right, number 7, discuss and approve agreement with Connecting Point for computer services.
All right, so we had Tom Hancock and a couple of his colleagues come and look over our IT infrastructure, and they came back with some recommendations to get us where we need to be from an infrastructure standpoint, and these are in 2 different quotes. The first is $5,841, and what that does is he goes through everything, gets it where it needs to be, cleans up our server room, puts in a new enclosure with doors, and works through all that. I think that's very affordable. The second part of this is the maintenance contract, and this covers everything, remote, on-site. We will have no bills like we've been receiving for the past several years, but that cost, it would be $2,465.75 per month to maintain everything, and that's also software, which is hardly ever covered. We added on a bunch of computers too that were at the fire department and ambulance building, and Jason has more to kind of go over this, to talk about some of the different technology that's included in this.
Yeah, so when we had the bills before, they were kind of spread out. There was bills that we were getting monthly, there was bills that were getting quarterly, there was bills that we were getting yearly, and then there was a bill even that we were getting every 3 years with the Antivirus Defender. So when you add all those together, it came out to about $1,050 a month if you divided everything over. So we've added a lot of new services in there. For example, there's 4 computers at the fire department included in this. There is 16 computers covered under warranty hardware that's at the police department. The big thing is EDR support. EDR support is the next level of antivirus. If you've seen in the news all the things that's happened where, like, what are they calling it now?
Ransomware.
The ransom. That people are being hacked and then their servers are held ransom and stuff that we saw at like the hospitals and stuff. They didn't have this kind of support that we're going to. So this is the next level of what's beyond antivirus. And then as Commissioner Udis said, you know, they're covering some of our software trouble calls that we used to have in the past and stuff like that. So that's why the price tag's gone up. Matter of fact, I don't know if you got the most recent one, there's one more computer that didn't get added. It was down in the water department, so they sent it this afternoon. The new monthly total is $25.59, or sorry, $25.29.50 is the new total. So, does anybody have any questions on any of that?
I do.
Sure.
So, I mean, all of us depend on these computer systems, each commissioner and their departments, and I'm hoping that somebody can come up and maybe address them, but for me, email's the biggest one right now. We need to have correspondence and a way of corresponding that's a City of Oglesby address. In the past, we've been able to kind of get away from that because of the cost involved, but I think, you know, from a professional standpoint, we need to do that. So I'd like to know some more about that, and I want to know exactly where we're gonna get going with that.
So as far as the email, I don't think the email is covered under this agreement. This was just all the computer agreement and stuff like that. I do agree with you. You know, I worked 4 years under just a Gmail account, and I'll be honest, I think I've told you all this. I was embarrassed sometimes. I'd hand out my card to people, and they'd look at it and they go, do you know your official email address? And I'm looking at it going, that is my official email
I
address.
think it's even bigger than that, Jason, because when we're getting our FOIAs that come in,
Correct.
we need to be able to hold them locally and be able to, you know, make sure that they're accessible. And if we're just counting on a Gmail address, there's no policing of it at all. There's
Correct.
no oversight.
And I think for the money that we're talking about spending here, you know, that kind of stuff should automatically be figured into it. I mean, that's the most important thing is the correspondence. If I have to send Commissioner McDermott or Commissioner Baldridge an inquiry about something, that should be cataloged, it should be archived and not in a Gmail account. And I think this is something, for me, that's important, that should be part of all this. I just don't like the whole à la carte thing. I think if we need the services and we're gonna go with this company to provide us these services, the email's the very basic that we should be getting and getting it right.
I agree with you that it's critically important. It really is. I don't know if it's I don't know if I agree with you that it's the most important thing, just because the city's operated for the last however long they've had email without it. Which again, to me, it's not professional. It doesn't make it easy for the FOIA request. I always thought it was strange anytime I get a FOIA request of going through my emails, and I'm the one searching through my own emails to provide stuff. I mean, there's an issue with that. It never made much sense. So, and I know I've talked with Mr. Hancock in the past about if we go to this new email system, how we can get something like that a FOIA officer has access to those records, so that way they can do the FOIAs and get in there and do that kind of stuff. So, but just again, you're saying though that should be included in this type of contract?
I'm saying if
what
we're
you're saying.
talking about spending $25,000 a year with a vendor, I want to know that at the very minimum, that we're able to correspond through a government account. I mean, to me, it's not something that involves a lot of thought. I mean, if we're using a Gmail account and that was just to start something off, okay, fine. But we're at a point now where, you know, we need to correspond professionally, and that's not a tall ask. I don't think this is anything that's unique of anywhere else. And my feeling is that anything that goes out of accounts and finance, any of the vendors that we have, they should be able to come up, answer the questions, and justify all this. I have no axe to grind. All I'm saying is that if we're gonna spend the money, these are the things that I'm looking for.
Okay. As I said, that part's not part of, this is just for the maintenance of all the equipment and the different servers we have. So that's what I'm trying to ask. Are you saying that you believe it should be part of this contract?
I
'Cause that's
believe
what
that
it
if we're
said.
gonna get it right, let's get it right. Let's get everything on the paper here. What's it gonna cost a year? What's it gonna cost a month? And then I have no problem. When we have to revisit it again, that's where I have a problem with it. So either we get it right or we don't.
Well, I don't know if the maintenance contract is necessarily, because I do have the thing to sign, but I haven't signed it yet. Obviously, we wanted to talk about the email situation to make sure everything's set up right and we're getting the right ones. That hasn't been signed yet. That's a separate one. So unless you want to put that into this contract, this is just for the maintenance of all the equipment and servers we have.
I think we need to get it all done at the same time, because I don't want to be coming back and revisiting this.
Okay.
This is something that the computers affect all of us and all of our departments, and the way I feel is that if we're using a certain vendor for something like this, I want to be able to get on the phone and say, hey, there's a problem with email. Okay, no problem, we'll take care of it for you. Or, hey, there's a problem with this computer. No problem, we'll take care of it for you. If it's where we have to kind of go back and forth and it has to get pushed off, I have no desire to do that.
Well, keep in mind, the police are under a different email exchange system, and so far, everybody's very happy with that, and we weren't planning on touching that, is the thing. So
If they're City of Oglesby employees and we're City of Oglesby officials, we should be using the same domain, we should be using the same email server, same email system.
We can look into that. I'm not saying that we can't.
I thought we did. I thought there's a monthly price for it. I mean, I just don't understand why we're not addressing it. I mean, we've been in for how long now, and we've had to use Gmail accounts. To me, that's just, we can do better than that, and that's all I'm asking for.
Okay. Any other thoughts on that?
Well, we'd probably be more professional if we did have a citywide email. I understand the police department, for whatever reason, they might have to have something off to the side, but I'm for the email as well.
Well, I don't think anybody's against the email, and the,
I think we can add it to this. We'd do better.
To describe the police department situation, if we wanted to have them with an oglesbyil.us address, I don't think anybody would be opposed to that. What we'd have to do, though, is probably incur that cost dually for 6 months or so, so that everything from their current email can be automatically forwarded to that Oglesby email address. That makes sense? Because you can't just take Oglesby Police email address that's been established for 10 years, or like Mike's for 20-something years, and then all of a sudden take all his emails so he can't get them and have him start over fresh with all of his relationships and all of his networking.
my understanding is that we weren't gonna touch the police email address, because it is a professional, it is an Oglesby email domain, correct?
Yes.
It's not the exact same one as that we'd be going to.
Mike, is it oglesbypolice.com? Is that what you guys have? Yeah.
Yeah, so they have one, and I thought that was the whole reason why we're not touching that with them. As far as us getting one, how we're gonna do that is still a little bit up in the air. I think we have answers for it right now, but we're not here to approve that tonight, unless you're saying you want to stop this, to put that in that contract specifically.
I think that's what Tony's saying.
I think it needs to be addressed. The other thing is that the equipment, any equipment that we need, do we have to go through this vendor for the equipment, or can the city buy it on its own?
I
Well,
guess,
I would think we could buy it
If we're
on
gonna
our own.
upgrade the camera, the very camera that televises all these meetings, does that have to be purchased through this vendor, or can the city go and purchase it on its own and have the vendor?
What it is, Tony, is each computer has so much of a cost attached to it annually for service. So it doesn't, let's say if we add on 10 new computers, then this isn't gonna be the price we're gonna be paying. It's gonna go up so much per computer that we add onto the plan. If we shed 5 computers, the price is gonna go down, so it's fluid. It's a contract, but it's also somewhat fluid.
yeah, so for example, that
But that doesn't really answer my question.
camera right there was
And
not
what I'm
purchased
saying
with
is
them.
if we purchase equipment,
Well, we purchase
our
our own
own.
computers at the fire department, and they're taking care of those computers.
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, they're,
Yeah,
yeah.
we've
They're
purchased
taking 'em
computers
on.
in other locations. Sure, please come up, Tom.
I can try to answer your question.
There's
turn the mic
there's a
on,
button
Pat.
on there.
I can try to answer your questions. I think we've already given some pricing on what mail is. It's actually for our standard exchange, which is mail, calendaring. You have that as a separate. We need to add it. That's not a problem. We can add it. I think it's like 150 for,
you got 150
Per
per
month.
month,
For
and
15.
that's for 14 users.
15.
You got 14 on here,
Well, it should be one that's basic, 14 that's. standard.
14 that are standard.
Right, that's 15 separate email accounts, and they're all end with the oglesbyil.us email.
Mhm.
And so if we need to add the pricing to that, we can. We know the cost is $150 per month, so you're gonna add that to whatever the.
Well, and that's what I'm getting at, that's what I'm driving at here, is that, I have it in this packet, but I didn't hear anything about it, so that's what I'm saying, is if we're gonna approve this, and we're talking about approving prepaid support contract, and then the contract for the work with the route, or with the cabinet and all that, and all I'm saying is the email, I think, is something that has to be a part of this. What about utilizing group copies of Microsoft Office? I think everybody here uses Microsoft Office to some degree. Is that something that we have an ability to do?
I don't understand the question.
Well, instead of we get a new computer, we have to buy yet another version or another copy of Microsoft Office. Can we buy a group copy and just apply it to all the city computers and save a little bit of money doing so?
That isn't how Microsoft works.
Okay,
It's licensed per machine, so you have to buy a license per machine.
okay. Now, does all the equipment that is covered in this equipment that has to be purchased through you?
No, most of the equipment that is sitting out there right now was, the Dell systems that are at the fire department were not purchased through us. So we will cover the hardware and the software.
Okay,
Normally, nobody covers software on a computer.
right.
You're sort of.
No, you're on your own with the software
You're on your
provider.
own. We're gonna cover your software, so if you have an issue with Windows, issues with the system starting up, an update's made and it affects your system, we're not gonna, that's all gonna be part of your monthly fee.
And I appreciate that, and that's one thing that you would have my support on. That's, I mean, it's not that I'm not supportive of this, but when we talk about something that's high technology and that affects all of us, I just think that there's some things that we should be clearing up and making sure that we're on the same page, because, you know, we're talking about approving a contract here. I just want to know what the contract covers. I mean, I've read what I read here, but, you know, with technology, it's not all clear cut, so.
I think it is covering everything except the emails right now. That's why I didn't think we're talking about the emails necessarily tonight, because the police are on they're on a different server, and I thought we were understanding that the police were very happy with how they're having theirs, and that wasn't going to be touched. So that's why it's gonna be separate.
Well, we need to figure that out sooner rather than later. I thought we had talked enough about this leading up to today that we would have had some sort of a plan on it, because the way that I look at it is, if the police department can have a City of Oglesby address, how is it that the elected officials don't? I mean,
It's been 35 days.
well, I get that, but I mean, we've had this conversation, and I'm not trying to make a big deal about it or drag it out, but I'm just saying, when I have correspondence with somebody now, I'd like to have it go to a City of Oglesby email address. If it's good enough for the police, why is it not good enough for the rest of the departments?
I don't think anybody's arguing
And
with
if,
you.
and if Connecting Points is our go-to vendor for all of this, this should be uniform. It should be something that everybody is using the same thing, so if there's a problem, our friend here can come and address it all, and everything is standardized. That's all I'm asking for, and that's all that I got to say about it, so. Thank you, Mr. Hancock. I appreciate you answering my questions.
No problem.
The way I'm looking at it, Tony, is, the way I read this, if we already changed the 246575 number to 252950 monthly because we added another computer onto there. Looks to me like monthly, it's gonna cost us $150.50 to maintain our emails that we need for all of the city officials and other departments that don't have them. So if you just add another $150.50 onto that 252950 number, that's what your monthly cost is gonna be. I mean, we could add it onto this quote, but it's really not gonna change the numbers any. It's still gonna be $150.50 monthly.
And I don't believe that to be accurate, because I think it's more than that. And that's why I wanted to talk about that as a separate item.
We can talk about it however or whenever you want. All I'm saying is, if this is part of the packet, I want this in there, otherwise I have no interest.
Part of the thing we haven't talked about, and it'd be unfair to Tom to kind of bring it up right now, but one of the concerns is the basic versus the standard is one of my concerns for. Because everybody wanted to be able to have access to the email on the phones, but that puts everything into a standard category, which is $14 a single email address. And there's only one that was gonna be basic, and I think you added up, I think it's more than
$10.75.
10.70. I thought what's the 14?
That's the enterprise that you guys are using.
Okay, so it's 10 to, okay, all right. Well, thank you for clearing that up.
So this is accurate then.
Yeah, I thought there was 14 for some reason for the standard, I thought, but I don't have that in front of me right now. Are you saying you want to approve this contract with going straight to the emails? I was hoping to do a little more research on that, because we were gonna look at, remember we talked about,
I
we
don't- yeah, I
were
don't-
gonna look at the police and stuff like that and everything?
Just to make sure that we're competitive on the pricing, Tony, is what we're gonna make sure.
I got no problem with that, but it's gotta be addressed sooner rather than later.
And-
I'm not inclined to wait on something like this. If we need to go a different direction, then we need to do what we need to do. But as far as I'm concerned, we exchange enough email on a daily basis with correspondence interdepartmentally and even outside of our own accounts, where it has to happen sooner rather than later. I'm not inclined to put it off.
I'm not trying to make light of it. I completely agree with what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, we've been in this for 35 days, and I've been working on it since day one to try to get that.
All of us.
As a commissioner, I was working on it for 4 years and got nowhere.
That's
So,
gonna change now.
Yeah, it's good, we're gonna get it done.
It's gonna get done.
It's gonna get done.
One way or the other, it's
Yeah,
gonna get done.
It's gonna get done, believe me. I refuse to hand another person my card that says Gmail on it and have them look at me like, where are you from? So that's not happening anymore. So, unless you wanna, unless everybody wants to approve it tonight with everything on it, otherwise I was going to wait on the email thing and we can get those
If
answers.
the others wanna weigh in, I'm happy. I think I've made myself clear as where
May I
my
suggest
position
we,
is on it.
Table it?
You wanna table the whole contract and not approve the maintenance contract for all the things that we need to get
Yeah,
done?
let's get it all together, if that's possible.
Is it a big problem to not pass it tonight?
You tell me it affects more of your equipment down in the police department.
I just don't want us having our hands tied if there's something
I don't think
else.
2 weeks is gonna
Okay.
make or break us.
We can do that then. I know one of the concerns was to separate the server racks because the IVRD stuff is on the same rack, and we wanted to get those separated.
Yeah, we still don't know what's gonna happen with what equipment we're losing, since we're not gonna be the backup for Valcom anymore, though,
Yeah,
either,
that was,
so,
as I said, when we went to that IVRD meeting on Tuesday, it was the first we ever heard of that.
I know that.
So,
But it sounds like we're gonna be losing some of that.
yeah, so that's why I did want to get that separated sooner than later, but I don't think 2 weeks is necessarily going to kill us. Do we want to?
I'll make a motion, we table it till next meeting,
Second.
and have Tom add in the emails to the regular maintenance contract.
And Tom, at your convenience, I know you've met with Commissioner Udis and Mayor Curran. I'd like for you to meet with me in the clerk's office, because I'd like for you to get an idea of what my needs are, and I'm pretty sure you can fulfill them. I have confidence in you. I just want to be on the same page, and I want to get this done the right way so that everything that comes out of that office and out of anything that falls under accounts and finance is professional to the highest level. That's all I'm looking to do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Tom. We'll get her done. All right. Was there a motion made?
There's a motion.
Second.
Baldridge,
Aye.
Udis,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Stefani,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Number 8, approve request for an easement from ComEd for construction staging. Boy, I hate to move two of them at the same time. One right after another. Feels like we're not getting much done here. So we have so what this is ComEd is going to be working on a tower. That's where our solar field was going to go in. They want to pay us about $14,000 to get in there to work on the tower. Two towers in the area there. They're only gonna need access to it for about a week, but the time frame goes from like August 1st all the way to January. And we were gonna approve it tonight, but I think just over I got some information from you wanna talk about it a little bit?
Well, I can. So they submitted an agreement, which I found generally acceptable. It provided indemnification language so that ComEd would hold the city free and clear of any liability for anything that occurred with their activity on the site, but it didn't provide any insurance coverage. So I suggested to Jason, and Becky, I think was in on that email, that it really should provide some required insurance coverage, and it should list the city as additional insured. I certainly know that ComEd has deep pockets, but they're good at evading things too. So Jason asked him about that, and they sent a revised agreement back that it added one sentence that says insurance requirements can be met by a combination of insurance and self-insurance. But it didn't say that they provide insurance. So I don't mean to be a technocrat, but I told Jason I think they need to revise this language again. So that's why he and I are suggesting we table it in order to get this right. They're not gonna use it until August anyway, so we have
Correct.
some time.
At least August. August 1st is when it starts, but I think they said mid-August. But the thing is, I had good exchanges with them, and they did respond and say, hey, if there's anything else you need, please let me know. So I let them know on Sunday. But I didn't hear anything back yet. I was hoping to see the new one today, but since we don't have it, I think it'd be a good idea. Let's just table it, and we'll get it on the next one then, okay? Can I get a motion?
I motion that we table it.
Second.
Baldridge,
Aye.
Udis,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Stefani,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Number 9, refer request from Adam Lemrise and Amber Barr to vacate alley that abuts 825 Swift Avenue to the Plan Commission. So it's actually labeled, it's not 825 Swift, it's not a alley. It is actually an avenue. We did something with this similar with Bennett, I believe, in Swift with the Marzetta property, I think a couple of years ago. If you look at the old plans, you'll see that the streets look like they extend all the way into that forest area. Goes down a hill, it was never developed. So the alley or street before this was already vacated. So this is just another section of that street that's pretty much unused that they want to vacate. And we got to send it over to the Plan Commission. Any questions on it? If I can get a motion.
I'll make a motion to refer the request to planning commission.
Second.
Aldridge,
Aye.
Udis.
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Stefani,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Number 10, approve agreement with Trovero for use of lots for the Summer Fun Fest parking. So what this is last year, kind of at the last minute, we approved something, and Mayor Rivera signed an agreement. This is basically, I guess, for remove the liability and for our insurance to cover if anything were to happen in the parking lots that we have all the people parking for.
And also clean it up after the event, in the event there's any damage or ruts or anything. It does require that.
So this one that Pat put up for us has a little bit more details in it. It actually has like the legal description of the actual parking lots and everything like that, and it covers just the dates of the Fun Fest. Any questions on that? If I can get a motion, please.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Aldridge,
Aye.
Udis.
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Stefani,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Number 11, IMEA and City of Oglesby Electric Efficiency Program fiscal year '24. Approve a portion of funds for private entities. Rich, did you want to talk about this at all?
I know a lot about it already.
Okay, so we've done this, so for the last 4 years, this is what the city's been using to upgrade all the street lighting in the city. The last 2 years, though, however, we did open it up to where small businesses and such, if they wanted to utilize some of the funds, they could do that, because it is an authorized use. So for the last 2 years, we did. We put half the money up to go for that. We put a time limit on it because it is a use or lose every year. The first year we did it, nobody applied. The second year, 2 businesses did actually pull out applications, but the application is quite long and lengthy, and it pays you basically only a percentage of what your efficiency is. It's for all kinds of things: lighting, refrigeration, pump motors, HVAC units, stuff like that. So if you have if somebody's out there that's got a small business and wants to try to improve their electrical efficiency, there's money out there. And I think we wanted to, did you want to give the number? I think if we do the same plan, we'll give half of it 90 days. So that way, if any application gets put in with 90 days, then we'll honor that. But other than that, if after 90 days, the city's going to use the rest of the funding to improve its own electrical efficiency.
Agreed among 7,500.
Yeah, about half the amount. That's what you want to do. Any questions on that? Any concerns? If you want to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the electric efficiency program portion of funds for private entities.
Probably need an amount too.
7,500 for 90 days.
Second.
Aldridge,
Aye.
Udis.
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Stefani,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Number 12, refer request to Plan Commission for potential incoming business at 459 West Walnut. I'll talk about it a little bit then, I guess. We have, where that location is the Four Corners. I don't want to go into the details necessarily of what the business is, although I will tell you I am excited that it's going to get utilized for something I think is going to be pretty cool. But we want to make sure, because it's on a state route, there was some concerns, I believe, that we want to make sure that we're following all the rules and everything like that of whatever they develop there, that it has the right, because I don't even know how long it's been since a gas station's been there. It's probably been more than 25 years. So we want to make sure that whatever the entrances are to the state route and everything is fine. And I did talk to the property owner. She is looking to be able to have a building permit and a site plan ready within the next week, so that way the Plan Commission can take a look at it and go from there.
Becky and I talked about this. We really need to know exactly what she wants to do there, so I can dovetail it into all your ordinances. and
I
see
will
what
talk
might
to you
be
afterwards,
around.
Pat, and
Pardon me?
I'll talk to you afterwards and fill you in on what her,
I did a lot of research on it, Terry, just today, so I kind of know what she's heading toward, and I don't see any major problems, but I do think some variances are gonna be required.
Okay.
Unless I'm missing what she's intending, which is why Becky and I wanna see what she's intending. So
I
the
actually
building permit-
have some photos of what she's planning to
The
do.
building permit and the site plan should tell a big part of that story.
So you think I didn't hear about that. You think variances will be required?
I do,
Okay.
because you have requirements for restrooms and certain things in your building code, that are gonna require some adjustment if I have the right bearing on what's gonna happen.
Got it. Okay. I never thought about the bathrooms. Okay. All right, sounds good. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion, we refer the request to the plan commission.
Second.
Aldridge. Udis.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Stefani.
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Number 13, discuss purchase of tender,
If I should make a recommendation there, if there's gonna be variances, you ought to make this a combination plan commission and zoning board of appeals meeting.
Yeah,
What-
the variances will have to go before the zoning board. Any text amendments would have to go before the plan commission.
do we want to make it a joint motion then to also send it to them or no?
Again, we need to see what's being planned in order for me to make those decisions. And you can refer this to the plan commission and/or the zoning commission as I see fit, maybe.
I'd prefer to do both because I don't want to have to wait the extra 2 weeks if that's what it is, just for us to make the simple motion. I want to make sure that this business has the opportunity to get up and running
Do
sooner
it
or
to
later.
both, I just don't know
Okay.
what yet until I see what's going on.
I get to use my fancy cheat sheet here.
I will modify my motion then to include the
Zoning board,
zoning board as well.
thank you, Terry.
We need
Yeah.
another roll call or not?
And I'll second that if you want to do a whole nother roll call.
Okay.
It's an amend.
Aldridge.
You make a motion to amend. I got my little cheat sheet here.
Okay,
Would you
we're
like to
gonna
make a
amend.
motion to amend the previous motion?
He did.
That's what I just did.
Aye.
I like it.
Udis.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Stefani.
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Okay. Number 13, discuss purchase of tender truck and agreement with the Oglesby Fire Protection District.
Yeah, give me just a minute here, I gotta find my paper.
Sure.
Okay. All right, so Jason and I met with the Fire Protection District Board about the purchase of a tender truck for the Oglesby Fire Department. Tender truck used to be called a tanker truck. It carries water to scenes without fire hydrants. So it'd be like 3,000 gallons. They'll put it in a big porta tank and then draft out of that porta tank to put water on the fire. Right now, there's a truck available that they're holding for us. The benefit here is that we'd have it in 1 year instead of the 2 years it would take to get built if we go out for a new contract. However, we have to have a decision or have it ordered by July 1st, 2023. So I'm going to just let the council know kind of the terms that we went over, make sure everybody's on board, and then I hope to have it ready to be presented at the next meeting so we can meet that July 1st deadline. The price of the tender will be $432,800. We'll use the ARPA grant from the county for $200,000 that we were awarded, so that takes the cost down to $243,280. The city is going to cover 10% of the purchase price because when we talked to our fire chief, Ron, he said that we use it about 10% of the time for the city and 90% of the time for the fire protection district. So the city is going to put in $43,280 towards the cost. The city will secure a loan for the remaining $200,000. The Fire Protection District will repay this loan plus the actual interest costs accrued from the note. It's unclear whether they'll repay this over 10 or 15 years, but they should let me know within a couple of days what they want to do. They asked if we could add language that stated that this current council negotiated in good faith with the Fire Protection District, and it was their intention that future increases in contractual agreements between the parties for fire and ambulance protection remain close to the National Consumer Price Index as long as this loan payment is in place. But this cannot be binding because I don't want to promise anything beyond our administration. The city will sign over the title of the old tender to the Fire Protection District. They bought it, all right? So once we get the new one, we'll give them the old tender to sell or dispose of how they see fit. They seem to think it's worth some money. Ron doesn't think it's worth really anything, so we're happy to let them have it, to be honest with you. Those are basically the terms that we discussed. Any thoughts or suggestions on what we negotiated or any issues with it?
I mean, I think as long as you have an agreement in place, something in writing with the fire protection district, at least this way we can have some good peace of mind on our end, so.
Right. It's a safety issue for our firefighters. Every time they're taking this old tender out, they're putting their lives at risk because it's that unsafe. So that's why this is very much needed, and it's an important purchase, so.
It's the most dangerous vehicle in the fire service because of the weight that it's carrying with all that water, 3,000 gallons at 8.34 pounds per gallon. If the person takes a sharp turn or does something like that, they can roll the vehicle over, and it always results catastrophically. So it is an important piece of equipment, but there's a lot of responsibility that comes along with it.
And this is an old 13-speed that only a couple guys on our fire department can drive. So that's another issue as well.
Do we think we can be able to get this agreement drafted up and everything in time? Is their attorney doing, or is our
No,
attorney?
no,
We're doing
Pat
it?
would have, I sent Pat an email on it. That's what I'm reading off of, is the email that I sent
Okay.
Pat on it.
When did you send it to?
Sent 5:23 at 1:22 PM.
I saw it.
Okay, I just want to make sure that, because now we're dealing with only one more regular meeting. Now, don't get me wrong, at the next regular meeting, I think we're going to schedule another working meeting probably. So there is a chance we might have 2 meetings prior to July 1st, but I wouldn't bet on that second one. Let's just try to get this done at the next June meeting so we can get this approved.
I'll certainly do my best, Jason. I don't see why.
Okay. I know that they were looking back, they were looking to say if they can pay it off in 10 years versus 15, right?
Yeah, that's what they were looking
They were
into
gonna
for the
look at.
most part. Now, they did meet with Alec, their financial guy, and they were coming up, he was gonna talk to the, look over their finances and figure out what they could do.
Do you have a scheduled date that you're going to talk with them again this
He
week or
said
so?
this week.
Okay. Well, the sooner that conversation happens, the sooner Pat can probably put together.
Right, the only thing in
Agreement.
question, right,
We can tweak it.
yeah, the only thing in question right now is the repayment terms, whether it's over 10 or 15 years. Everything else should be
Okay.
correct.
Okay. All right, that was just discussion. Number 14. Number 14, approved purchase of body and squad cameras for police department.
All right, so there is a grant out right now that expires on June 30th. All my stuff's under the gun here. That would reimburse us $895 for each officer-worn body camera and $5,752 for each in-car dash camera. So that would reimburse us, and we feel pretty good about our chances of getting this grant. The money is available. We've met all the pre-qualifications for it. Mike's been in contact with the training board that approves these grants. So that would give us $55,861 towards the total price of $104,479. So basically 50%. Jason asked, like, what does each officer-worn body camera cost? It's right around $1,000. So we're covering about 10% of the actual cost on both the in-car cameras and the body cameras. However, this grant does not cover anything as far as data storage and IT stuff and all that. So that's where the additional cost comes in.
My only concern about that is I read that might be coming later on. Is that correct?
And what we're going under right now is that if we make the purchase, we should also still be able to go back retroactively and get reimbursed for this out-of-pocket
Yeah.
expense.
It always makes me nervous, but
That's coming from the training board, Jason, so
Yeah.
we have no reason to think that it's not. And if we don't get this, we don't know if the money's gonna be there to even help us out with half of the cost.
and we have to get it anyways.
We have to get it anyway. It's unfunded
Yep.
mandate, so.
Yep. Not a fan of it though, but I mean, taking a shot at getting money is better than no shot at no money, right?
Yeah,
So-
and the next part on the agreement here, down at the bottom, will make it a little bit easier to make this payment.
All right. Any other questions on that? Looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract for the body cameras.
Second.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Udis.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Stefani.
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Next is to accept a check from the Oglesby Police Department for $242,000.
So this was negotiated, we talked about this at a past meeting because we kind of had some questions on it. But I think under Carrie's regime, she came up with a deal with Chief Hayes where if we got a new officer, they would cover the first 3-year salary, what it costs for 3-year salary of that employee. That comes out to $242,000. So I have a check to us for $242 out of the, Jason loves this, the money laundering fund.
I hate that term. That is the official term of that account, just
That's
so you
what
know.
the check says, City of Oglesby Money Laundering Fund.
Thanks,
So-
thanks for those details.
There it is.
I don't think we need to take a motion. Do we want to take does anybody
Do
want
we
to be
need
against the motion of
official
accepting the check?
action?
I didn't think so.
Becky will be glad to do that.
All right. Number 16, recognition of Oglesby's EMS as it relates to the St. Margaret's EMS system closure.
Okay, I got a prepared statement. Our EMTs and paramedics are in the process of changing EMS systems due to the closure of St. Margaret's Hospital. I want to recognize them for their dedication, professionalism, and diligence. They had to study, learn, and retain over 400 pages of new EMS protocols that they will be practicing under. Allegedly, as of June 16th, St. Margaret's will close their doors, and most transports will be going to Ottawa or Mendota. That puts an excessive amount of stress on our providers and makes performing their jobs even more difficult than it was previously. Thank you, Oglesby EMS. You always go above and beyond, and this council wants to make sure you're recognized for your commitment to our city.
Thank you much. All right, next up, number 17, change July meeting date. I think there was some concerns about the July 3rd meeting. I think I got some responses from everybody that they believe the 5th works out. We have one commissioner that can't make it, and I know there's some other people that were looking to be out of town for the July 3rd meeting. So is everybody good with moving it to July 5th then? Is there any conflicts with that schedule?
Let's go with it. Do we need to
We do need to make a motion. 'cause it
I'll
is
make a motion to approve.
Second.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Udis.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Stefani.
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Old business. Does any other I know we have no reviewed table items. We will obviously at a future meeting. Does anybody have any other old business over any other topic? Okay. Public comments on any topic? Please come up to the podium.
A couple of times in the last 2 weeks. First, I'm down by the park, the Veterans Park, and I see somebody driving their golf cart, holding a baby that's less than a year old with one hand and driving with the other.
Drew, can I stop you for a second? I have a whole statement I'm going to read about that as part of my commissioner report, so just know that we are going to address it.
Okay. Well, then the second one was I was coming back from Spring Valley, dark, 9:30 at night. Cart goes right in front of me, coming from the police station going. I followed her, no lights, nothing. And she's got like 3 or 4 kids, and it's like, you know, it's just a matter of time.
I don't disagree.
It's a matter of time.
Yeah, this gentleman.
Any other public comments? Okay.
What are we gonna do about that bucket truck that we got in town here? What the deal on that?
Did it already go out for,
The ad will run Wednesday.
yeah, we voted at the last administration to run an ad for it. I wanted to sell it directly, but I think the majority of the council wanted to do a vote, so, or to put it on the paper, so it's
Okay.
going in the paper.
Okay, thanks, Jason.
Is there any other public comments? Okay. In that case, number 20, Commissioner, it says updates, Commissioner reports. Commissioner Stefanelli.
So from accounts and finance, I have some good news to share with the residents. Yard waste, previously we had the tags where they'd have to come in and get the tags for any yard waste. We found that it's part of our contract with the garbage company. The specific is that it shall not exceed 40 pounds. So if you're putting it in a box or the brown paper bag, it just can't be more than 40 pounds. And that's to avoid dirt and stuff like that being thrown out. If it's just brush, dry brush, they'll take it. So that's good news. They won't need the tags anymore. The clerk and I will be working with the owner of the Cindy's property in the near future here to get that cleaned up, because coming into town now, that's kind of an eyesore. So I just want the residents to know that that's top priority for me, along with the other stuff that we're doing. In the future, they can expect to see a better process for obtaining building permits and applications and all that. So that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Udis.
I have a statement to read about the UTVs and side-by-sides, golf carts. The Oglesby Police Department has recently been receiving several citizen complaints regarding golf carts and side-by-sides. Operators must follow the rules of the road just as if they're operating a motor vehicle. This includes, but is not limited to, wearing a properly adjusted and fastened seatbelt, except that a child less than 8 years of age shall be protected in the same manner as such children are required to be protected when riding in motor vehicles under the Child Passenger Protection Act. No driving on sidewalks or in the parks. Golf carts, neighborhood vehicles may not be operated on streets and highways and roads under the jurisdiction of the Illinois Department of Transportation, including State Highway 351 Columbia Avenue and that portion of Walnut Street lying west of Columbia Avenue, including Highway 23 Richard Moyle Senior Highway lying west of Columbia Avenue, except to cross the street or highways at approved intersections. Must have a valid Illinois driver's license. Violations while operating a golf cart neighborhood vehicle could result in a state traffic citation. We want everybody to be safe and have a happy summer.
Excellent. Thanks. Commissioner McDermott.
I have a couple. There was an update to the cellular device needed to the lift stations. This device does a call out if there's a problem with the pumps, okay? There was an issue, the situation, so we had to get the devices, and as quick as possible. Test has installed the devices, and they should be up running very good shortly. On the 9th of this month, fire hydrant work will be beginning. I will give you an update on this at our next meeting. I'm just wanting people to be aware. In the streets, the new line painting per contract has been completed. However, the street department is currently finishing the arrows, and we are currently looking on the issues of Lando Smith to 251. Also, the streets will be painting the curves marked on the Walnut Street to begin this week and throughout next. Okay? And one more final update. The parking lot across from Claudette's, they're going to begin to work on that starting tomorrow, I believe.
All right. Thanks. Commissioner Baldridge.
It's summertime and the great crew down at our pool is open and ready for a sunny and fun summer. I went down and looked around Wednesday and was so happy to see it was packed with so many smiling faces. A big thank you again to former Mayor Finley and John Sales and Service. As usual, they were there to help us out in a bind. The refrigerator and freezer both went out in the heat of the last week. Within an hour's time, Mr. Finley supplied us with both for a greatly reduced price and had it delivered and set up. Saved a lot of product and made for some happy customers. I would like to recognize and thank first and foremost all of our veterans, also our Parks Department, WAO, those who were able to attend, and all the others who helped hold a very heartfelt Memorial Day ceremony. We had a very good turnout. There were also a large number of people who complimented how beautiful the park looked and thanked us for our efforts. So again, a special thank you to all of those who helped. As I mentioned at the last meeting, though, a small group of members were able to step up this year to help clean out some of our park and monuments. Due to Father Time, there are not many veterans left that are able to help with the upkeep of these important dedicated monuments. If done yearly, it would be a lot easier once cleaned. I ask anyone who would be willing to help out to contact me so I can make a list of volunteers willing to help in the future. I want to address those concerned about the Memorial Park ball field. We have heard you and we understand your concerns. There are many of us working on a solution for this to be done as soon as possible. I assure you that it is not being overlooked or forgotten. We are currently gathering information and considering all of our options. Please have a little more patience and give us a chance to fix this problem. As Jason said, it's been 35 days for us, so we're trying. It will be fixed as soon as possible when we figure out what the best solution will be. The electric department is pleased to announce that on Clark Street, it's 99% completed. The landscapers are working hard to finish that job off. We appreciate everyone's patience throughout this project. And just as a reminder, as stated in the Oglesby newsletter, this Saturday at 5 p.m. is We Are Oglesby's Ducky Derby and Kickoff Cookout, leading to Summerfest, which begins Thursday, June 15th at 4 p.m. and concludes Sunday, June 19th with River Road Trio at 3:30 and Brushville at 6 p.m., followed by the City of Oglesby's Great Fireworks Show. Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Check something real quick. Just want to make sure I got my dates right. 18th Sunday. Yeah, I had to be concerned because I'm about to repeat the Fun Fest. I wanted to make sure I had the right dates, like, uh-oh. All right, my report, a couple things. Fun Fest, first of all, this year, Red, White, and Bike is coming back. That's going to be Saturday the 17th at 11 a.m. Lineup will be at 10:30 at City Hall. So great prizes. Every kid who participates in the parade gets 5 tickets for drawings. So bring as many as you can, have a great time. Prizes are numerous things like Legends Home Run Derby to get some meet and greets with the Major League Baseball alumni players, family trips to the zoo, like the zoo, Raging Waves Water Park, etc. Prizes are also going to be given for Best Decorated. Then they'll have face painting, activities, snacks, all kinds of fun. So please come out for that. Volunteers are still needed. I'd like to thank all those that have volunteered to help thus far. While Thursday and Friday schedules are pretty filled out, we are still short volunteers for Saturday and Sunday yet. Please consider helping out. This is how we continue to have a fantastic Oglesby Fun Fest each and every year. And last thing is, again, it's the 15th through the 18th. Fun Fest is a safe, free, and good family entertainment, family-friendly entertainment. So please come out. I hope we're gonna have another great year. The last thing I got is, we talked about this a little bit at our last working meeting. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. is when the sirens go off for the monthly test. We are going to do a code red test tomorrow. So a lot of residents have said something about like, hey, I heard there was a code red that went out. I didn't get it. Whatever. So now I'm telling you that at the 10 a.m. one, we're going to do a code red test through the whole city of Oglesby. So again, the city of Oglesby does not manage the code red page. So if you go to the city's page, you'll see a link to the code red there. There has been problems in the past when people sign up, if you don't put your address in exactly right or perfectly, or you misspell it, it doesn't know where you are. It puts your little pin on a map that's somewhere else. So when the city draws the circle, when the clerk's office or the police department draws a circle around Oglesby, if it doesn't have where your map location is, you're not going to get the call. So this is a good way. If you're signed up and you wanted to know, go ahead and check out, make sure you're signed up properly, and you'll get that test. Immediately after the siren test, I will attempt an audio test over the siren. My exact words will be this: this is a test of the Oglesby emergency siren. Again, this was only a test. I'll do my best to enunciate those words as clear as I can. That way we can find out how clear it is to understand at 1 block, 3 blocks, and maybe even 10 blocks. So that's all I got.
Jason, I have a statement on
Sure,
that.
go ahead.
I forgot to catch you before
Okay,
the
go
meeting
ahead.
on this. So, do you know how to do the voice over the siren?
Our police chief said he knows where it
I
is.
don't know that,
We don't have a microphone?
I don't know that we're prepared to do that yet.
Okay.
So you might want to wait until next month.
So you don't know if you have the capability to do it right now? Okay. Do we want to wait? Might as well wait another month
I
then.
think you might as well wait.
I don't want somebody out there waiting for I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
All right. We'll still do the code red test.
Very
We'll-
good.
We'll send that out at 10 a.m. But as far as the speaking over the siren, we'll hold off on that, okay? All right, thanks for bringing that up.
Yes, sorry.
Anybody got anything else last minute, oh, by the ways? All right, in that case, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Well, need a motion.
Second.
Baldridge. Aye. Udis.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Stefani.
Aye.
Kern.
Aye.
Good job, guys. That was actually good. Hey, look, it's under an hour. That was good. It's under an hour. It wasn't live either. Was it?
Yes, sir. It's the 19th.
I said 19th.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I heard 9th, so I'm getting old.
Don't scare me.